My drunk sister publicly humiliates my fiancé at our rehearsal dinner, but she never expected my father-in-law to expose her shocking secret in front of everyone. My rehearsal dinner has hands down turned out to be the most eventful day of my life. The whole thing has sort of set off a series of completely chaotic events and a lot of drama, but honestly, I'm kind of enjoying it despite the stress. So, my sister got really drunk at my rehearsal dinner, and during her speech she was just incredibly mean to my fiancé, making him the butt of old jokes. I mean, obviously some light roasting is more than fine and everyone does that, but she took things to the point where everyone was getting uncomfortable. I couldn't think of how to stop her without creating a scene, but what happened next was unexpected and very satisfying. My fiancé and I have been together for 4 years, and we have a strong and loving relationship. We decided to get married, and our families were excited for us. My sister, one of my bridesmaids, I thought she was happy for me. I had no clue that she'd be mean in her speech, but as she was continuing, it became clear that she was trying to embarrass him in front of everyone. I was shocked and hurt. My fiancé is a kind and caring person, and he didn't deserve to be treated like that. He was visibly upset, and I could feel his discomfort. I wanted to say something, but for a while, I was too stunned to react. I couldn't understand if I was misunderstanding or overthinking, but no matter how much I fought it, the speech still came across as mean-spirited. A few minutes into the speech, I was just about to interrupt by making an awkward joke, but then something happened that I couldn't have imagined happening in my wildest dreams. My father-in-law got up from his seat and walked over to the microphone. He cleared his throat and said that he's had enough, and that he has been waiting for an opportunity to do this for a long time. As soon as he said that, my fiancé got up and told my father-in-law to not say anything, and that my sister was just joking. Meanwhile, I was utterly confused. My father-in-law told my fiancé that he has had enough. He then proceeded to tell everyone how my sister had tried to convince his family not to let my fiancé marry me several times since we got engaged. My jaw dropped. I had no idea about any of this. I looked at my fiancé and he just looked massively uncomfortable. He knew something I didn't. My father-in-law continued to explain how my sister had drunk-called my fiancé one night when he was visiting his family shortly after our engagement. Apparently, she started saying ridiculous things about me and told him I would cheat on him because I have a history of cheating on my partners. This is untrue, and I have never cheated on anyone I have been with. She was spreading lies and rumors about me, trying to turn him against me. My fiancé got so incredibly uncomfortable with these obvious lies and her desperation that he just hung up on her, but she kept calling again and again. He had to pick up after like 12 missed calls, and she was sobbing and telling him he would be better off with her. So, that's the whole thing. She was secretly in love with him. This was quite late at night. My poor fiancé couldn't sleep all night and in the morning told his family about what happened. They decided that they had to tell me immediately, but then my sister sent him a long text apologizing for everything and begging him not to say anything to me because she didn't want to fight with me. My fiancé didn't know what to do and talked to his family about it, and they decided to keep it between themselves to maintain the peace. I wasn't happy to learn about this decision because I think I deserved to know from the very beginning, and I would have put a stop to this nonsense before it escalated this far and ruined my rehearsal dinner. The drunk calls happened a few more times after that night, but I didn't have any idea. My father-in-law said all of this and said he had enough of my sister trying to make everything about herself. And although he hated to do this in public, he knew my fiancé would have never said anything, and this needed to stop now. The room was silent. The color drained out of my sister's face and looked like she wanted to disappear. My father-in-law ended his speech by saying that he was proud to welcome me into their family and that he was excited for our future together. At that point, my sister almost ran out of the room. My mom followed her, and they returned after like 30 minutes, and it was obvious that she was crying. The rest of the night was awkward, to say the least. My mom tried to apologize to my fiancé on my sister's behalf, but he wasn't interested in hearing it. He told her that her behavior was unacceptable and that he didn't want anything to do with her. I was torn between feeling angry with my sister and sad that our relationship had been damaged. The next day, my sister tried to talk to me, but I wasn't in the mood to listen. I told her that what she did was unforgivable and that I needed time to process my feelings. She left in tears, and I haven't spoken to her since. I think I'm going to uninvite her to my wedding. I don't care if she's truly sorry, I just don't want to think of what she did every time I see her face on my special day. Honestly, I can't believe that my sister could be so awful. We never really had a close relationship, but the fact that she was secretly trying to sabotage my happiness feels like a punch in the gut. I feel betrayed and hurt, but at the same time, I'm glad that everything came out in the open. I'm also grateful for my father-in-law's intervention. If it weren't for him, my sister would have continued to make my fiancé's life miserable for who knows how long. Update 1. Wow, I didn't expect my post to get so many responses. I've been trying to go through the comments and answer your questions. Many people asked how old my sister is because of how juvenile she is. Well, my sister and I are twins, and we're 26, so I doubt age had anything to do with this. We're also not nearly as close as people expect twins to be, though. She didn't show any obvious signs of liking my fiancé before the disaster, but now that I'm thinking of it closely, she never really liked him much either. Kind of cold to him from the very beginning, but again, we rarely met, only at occasional family events, so I didn't pay much attention to it. The reason my fiancé didn't say anything is that he didn't want to cause any drama in my family just before our wedding. Also, since we hardly ever met my family, he thought he'd just wait it out, hoping my sister would stop. He did apologize to me for not speaking up earlier, but I'm not mad at him at all. He's a shy, non-confrontational person in general, and the only person at fault here is my sister. My sister hasn't reached out to either me or my husband since the rehearsal dinner. I'm extremely angry at her and embarrassed. It's kind of mortifying to know that my future in-laws know what an immature train wreck she is. Update 2. My sister is a coward and still hasn't reached out yet. But my fiancé and I have decided that we are going to uninvite my sister to the wedding. I called her up to let her know, and she started crying and apologizing. I told her that this doesn't mean I'm cutting her out of my life, but I need some space before things get all right between us again. She was still crying when she hung up, and I felt really bad, but I'm sure that I'm making the right call by putting some space between us temporarily. I thought this would be the end of the whole matter. But then I got a call from my mother. She was extremely upset and said that I can't leave my sister out of the invitation because family is family, and she only made a little drunk mistake. We had a massive fight about this, and things got heated to the point where I told her that she is free to not come to the wedding if she thinks my sister did nothing wrong. Now my mom is saying she'll boycott my wedding unless I re-invite my sister. My dad is thankfully on my side and has assured me that he will be there to walk me down the aisle. Update 3. We got married. I uninvited my sister from the wedding, and my mom didn't show up either because she expected me to just forgive her, but I completely refused to do that. I'm not speaking to her at the moment. My dad is supportive though, so that's good. As for my sister, I'm not sure where our relationship will go from here. We may never fully repair the damage that she caused, but I do hope that she learns from this experience and that she becomes a better person because of it. I don't wish ill on her, but I also don't want her toxicity in my life. In the end, my fiancé and I got married just how we wanted to, and it was a beautiful day. We were surrounded by people who genuinely cared about us and our happiness. It was such a sharp contrast to the rehearsal dinner where my sister tried to ruin the evening with her weird obsession with my husband. NTA, not the asshole. Your sister deserves no sympathy. Drunk or not, she has no right to say all that stuff to your husband. The fact that she did the same thing multiple times makes it obvious that this is more than a drunk crush for her, and she has been trying to poison your relationship deliberately for a while and blaming the alcohol. I think you made the right call by cutting her off. Hopefully your mom will understand the situation soon and stop defending your sister. Your sister really needs to work on herself. Sabotaging relationships is literally the biggest red flag and points to some deeper mental health crisis. I think the best way to deal here would be by empathizing with her and trying to have a more open conversation. After all, she is your family. Next story. I, male 49, have 4 kids, female 22, female 19, male 10, and female sex. Amy is my eldest. Amy is a very good student but tends to slack off sometimes. Regardless, she got accepted into a very well-known school, and we're extremely proud of her. She received some aid, and we said we would cover the rest of her tuition fees. Last year, Amy mentioned she was struggling with the coursework. I encouraged her to work harder, but she wasn't getting it, and we were all worried about her grades slipping. She said a friend introduced her to Jack, a few years her senior who graduated from her major with top marks, and she would go to him for tuition. I guess it worked because she started doing better. Jack died a couple of weeks ago. Amy has understandably been a little upset, and me and my wife have tried our best to comfort her. The issue that's come up now is that Amy said she's going to take this semester off to cope. I was very surprised by this, and don't think this is a good idea as she'll fall behind, which might cause problems later. Amy is insistent with this. I discussed this with my wife and told Amy if she takes the semester off, I won't be paying for her tuition anymore. She got mad, but I told her that she can't take time off for virtually 0 reasons and expect everything to go her way. My wife agrees with this, but my second daughter is also saying that this isn't right. Am I being the a-hole with this? Edit, forgot to add. Amy stopped tuition earlier this year. She's doing fine with the coursework now and wasn't in tutoring for those asking. Amy mentioned when I saw her on Christmas break last year that she and Jack had started seeing each other. but I didn't think it sounded serious. Amy then told me when I talked to her after his death that he'd asked if she wanted to move in with him, and she was thinking about it, but again, this was the first me and my wife heard of it. Amy's mom apparently knew. YT, you're the asshole for 0 reason? Seriously? You call losing someone close to you 0 reason? Clearly, you forgot the part about parenting where you're supposed to be supportive. You also forgot the part about being a decent human and having a shred of empathy. For the record, a semester off will not cause her problems later on. You're absolutely delusional if you think it will. YTA. Her friend died, she's grieving. Now I can get why you think taking a whole semester off isn't a good idea. There's a risk she'll sit at home, wallow in her grief, and possibly that won't help. But you're effectively punishing her for grieving, which is incredibly unhealthy. But even if she does, it will not ruin her educational future. Would you prefer that she struggles at school to the point where she risks dropping out completely? Have you discussed other options such as going part-time or spoken to the school about any extra support they can give, or if they can apply for mitigating circumstances, extra consideration around exams or coursework? Is there a therapist you could see to help her process her grief? Please don't punish her for grieving, though. It's just asking for her to develop long-term, unhealthy ways to deal with emotions and grief. YTA on so many levels. Regardless of the reason, it is okay to take a break from school. I took several, and it may have taken forever, but I did graduate. I had a mental breakdown that landed me in the mental hospital because I was too terrified to tell my parents how bad I was struggling. Telling her to work harder when she was struggling, that clearly didn't help. Also, that isn't good advice at all. The next is not understanding that losing someone to death is very traumatic, if they were close or not. Next story, I have a longtime friend Bill, and he has a girlfriend, Jackie. Jackie is a bit overweight but not obese. I used to be obese and tried everything, but couldn't keep off the weight. I eventually lost weight when I got seriously ill and had to spend months in hospital. There were weeks where I could barely eat anything or vomited out all of it. It wasn't a fun time. That was a few years ago, and luckily I didn't gain it back. Last weekend my husband and I went over to Bill and Jackie, and at one point, Jackie started talking about how she looks up to me for losing weight, and I'm such an inspiration. I was a bit confused and told her that it wasn't really my hard work. I struggled for years without success, and I only lost the weight because of my illness. Jackie looked at Bill, absolutely betrayed, and asked him if he knew this. Turns out Bill was using me to motivate Jackie to lose weight. He showed her old pictures of me and told her how disciplined I was and what things I did to lose weight. How I worked out 4 to 5 times a week, true. How I cut out sugar, also true. And all the things I did do in the past, but didn't actually make me lose weight. They almost had a whole fight in front of us. Jackie was angry at Bill for lying and manipulating her, and Bill was saying that he was just trying to help. We left, but Bill messaged me that I was wrong for telling Jackie the truth. I took away hope from her, and I ruined her diet. I think Bill never should have lied to Jackie, but maybe I shouldn't have told her the truth either. I heard her saying I was her inspiration, and I responded with crushing her dreams. Maybe Bill was right. I don't know. Eta, am I the asshole? NTA, not the asshole. Bill is TA here. He was deceiving his girlfriend about how you lost weight, and thus deceiving her about how she might also lose weight in the long term. A lack of success for her would have meant much lower self-esteem, feeling like a failure, and possibly more weight gain. He knew you hadn't done it the way he was telling her you had, so her chances of doing it the same way were much lower. What you did do was maintain the weight loss afterwards, which is the single hardest thing about weight loss. But lying about how you lost that weight in the first place was a dick move. Ask yourself this. Would you be okay with him telling Jackie you lost the weight by having a gastric sleeve and encouraging her to do the same? Would you be okay with him telling her you lost the weight with laxative tea or any other supplement that gets pushed on Instagram? Holding someone up as an example but being dishonest about how they achieve their success risks pushing people struggling to achieve the same results to unhealthy, extreme measures. Telling someone I lost the weight by getting horribly, deathly ill is a reality check for his expectations as well. Bill is a dick. Stand your ground. Tell Jackie you weren't comfortable with the way she was deceived to make your dramatic weight loss seem as if it was lost healthily or in a way that can or should be replicated by others. Bill was making up lies about you to gaslight Jackie. What were you supposed to do? Join in on the gaslighting by agreeing with Bill and lying about yourself? I could see how you feel bad for crushing a girl's weight loss spirit, but wouldn't it be worse to use a lie to falsely encourage her? I would be so defeated if I were Jackie, spent years working on it and praying to get the same results as you just to find out that your story was completely different. Bill never even told you he was lying about you, so how are you supposed to know to join in and be Jackie's inspiration? What were you supposed to say when Jackie asked for your workout routine or meal plan ideas? More lies? Nah, you were being honest, and now Bill is in trouble for two things. One, being dishonest, and two, comparing his woman to another woman. Jackie should ditch Bill. NTA. First off, what did I just read? Second of all, you didn't cultivate that lie, he did. Third of all, he shouldn't have lied, and he shouldn't have taken his anger on you. Fourth of all, if he wanted to lie, he should have told you the first lie to have you in on it even. Though that in itself is ridiculously childish too.